The use of various trump card tactics aboard the Kang Chong indicated Song Chi's unwavering resolve at that moment. Under his command, both Tuo Gu Hong, who drew upon his own life to control 4th-rank combat power, and the 4th-rank Void Demon charged toward the leading rock armor Starry Sky Behemoth, determined to eliminate the adversary with the utmost speed. Behind them, the 2nd rock armor Starry Sky Behemoth naturally wouldn't just stand by and watch. It bellowed and was about to join the battle when Song Kai went all out. The engines of the Kang Chong roared to life, and its light energy aggregation feature was activated. In an instant, the warship's speed surged exponentially, heading straight for the 2nd behemoth. Boom! After the dull impact, only the Kang Chong was affected, as the rock armor Starry Sky Behemoth's colossal size was laid bare. How could it be disturbed by the mere 120 meters length of the Kang Chong? Once the warship stabilized from being thrown, Song Kai realized that the direct collision had flung the Kang Chong hundreds of meters away due to the terrifying recoil force. Warning: the warship has sustained damage. Current warship armor is damaged by 18%, warship structure by 35%. Please repair immediately. Hearing the half-automated shipboard AI's prompt, Song Kai remained unfazed and unhesitatingly controlled the Kang Chong to charge once more towards the rock armor Starry Sky Behemoth ahead. At this moment, his only mission was to buy enough time for Tuo Gu Hong and the 4th-rank Void Demon. With the enhancement of the Totem True Body and the Ruins Market Walking Command, both had reached the peak of the 4th rank. Given enough time, they could certainly take down the other behemoth. Warship hull damage at 38%, warship hull damage at 43%, warship hull damage at 50%. As time marched on, the Kang Chong's damage continued to climb rapidly. The neutron star core armor had the ability to regenerate, minimizing the impact, but the damage to the hull itself was not something that could be repaired in a short amount of time. It's a pity that the healing fruit component is of too low quality. If there were a high-quality healing component, the Kang Chong's situation would be much better. After I return to the family, I really need to find a way to procure a high-quality recovery component. While thinking, Song Kai also divided his attention to keep an eye on the other part of the battlefield. However, his expression wasn't very optimistic. The Void Demon and Tuo Gu Hong, with their peak 4th-rank combat power, were indeed strong. Each attack came with extreme distortion of the void, and the rock armor Starry Sky Behemoth was already slashed with countless wounds. But the Starry Sky Behemoth's vitality was astonishing, and such injuries were not enough to disable it in a short time. Song Chi's mind raced as he considered other strategies to break through the stalemate. With the Kang Chong's hull damage exceeding 50%, it couldn't afford to drag the fight out any longer. About several seconds later, the Void Escape Orb, after another buffering round, activated again, and when the Kang Chong reappeared, it was directly above the head of the other rock armor Starry Sky Behemoth. Song Chi's choice of Void Escape timing was perfect, coinciding exactly with the moment the behemoth threw its head back to roar. The Kang Chong, which happened to appear above it, naturally did not hesitate to activate the external cobalt-piercing bullet launcher, firing not one but two special cobalt bullets at the same time. In the main control room, watching the two special cobalt bullets successively penetrate the fierce mouth of the rock armor Starry Sky Behemoth, Song Kai exhaled softly. If he could add a blast of mixed hollow extreme Yang Sword Intent Divine Light to it, the effect would have been even more astonishing. Unfortunately, it was still cooling down. Boom! Boom! Two violent roars came from below, mixed with the agonizing howl of the rock armor Starry Sky Behemoth. As an Earth attribute Starry Sky Behemoth, its defensive ability was truly remarkable, but that referred to its thick rock armor on the outside. The two special cobalt bullets exploded directly inside its mouth, an area not protected by the rock armor, thus causing severe damage. In addition to the injuries already inflicted by the Void Demon and Tuo Gu Hong, with this last assault, the rock armor Starry Sky Behemoth was completely incapacitated. Before long, it fell under the onslaught of Tuo Gu Hong's Kingming Sky-cracking spear. With the death of this behemoth, the situation became quite clear. Facing the attack from three sides, the remaining rock armor Starry Sky behemoth could only be swiftly slain. Regretfully, after killing the second behemoth, Tuogu Hong's frenzied state was nearing its end, and he could no longer follow to the 76th layer. Fortunately, after succeeding in this level's challenge, Song Kai once again had 2 hours of rest time. After a deep sleep, his spiritual force recovered to be even better than before entering the 75th layer, about 75% of its peak condition, which was fairly good. 2 hours later, the unique ancient sound of the Pusuo Heritage Tower once again echoed. Are you ready to challenge the 76th layer? Once the challenge begins, it cannot be terminated unless you successfully clear it or die. Hearing this, Song Chi's heart tightened slightly, but he did not hesitate much. A firm start. Shortly after, a strong pulling force enveloped the hull of the Kang Chong. Then, as the space in front of Song Kai morphed, the scene stabilized to reveal a new level within the virtual illusion space. The guardian creatures of the 76th layer were still rock armor Starry Sky behemoths, but their number had increased from 2 to 3. As a type of Starry Sky behemoth, their size was already much larger than other creatures of the same rank. Barely 4th rank, yet their size exceeded a staggering 6,000 meters. The three lined up in the vastness of space, presenting an indescribable pressure from just a single glance. Unexpectedly, this time Song Kai did not summon the Void Demon. Instead, he kept adjusting the position of the Kang Chong behind him, seemingly planning to rely on its superior speed to repeat the kite-flying tactics used in previous battles. But according to the actual situation, this was actually impossible. Not to mention that his spiritual force was not in its peak state to begin with, and it was unknown how long he could endure. Just the terrifying vitality of the 3 Yan Sha giant beasts alone. The firepower from Kongchong was too dispersed, and it was feared that the damage inflicted would not keep up with their rate of recovery. But for some unknown reason, Song Kai kept adjusting the distance between them, wandering endlessly in this virtual illusion space that spread across who knows how many light years. This naturally created a rather comical scene where, in the illusion space, a warship led in front, followed by 3 Yan Sha giant beasts, all of them seemingly tireless in their perpetual chase. Time trickled away. 1 hour. 3 hours. After a full 3 hours, the picture had not changed. Song Kai, controlling Kongchong at the very front, seemed to enjoy it. After 6 hours, it remained the same. After 9 hours, still the same. It wasn't until the 12th hour that Song Kai in the main control room of Kongchong seemed to snap back from his trance. He continued to maneuver Kongchong, indirectly adjusting the pursuit angle of the 3 Yan Sha giant beasts behind him. At the same time, his gaze was fixed on the radar screen to one side, closely monitoring the position of the 3 Yan Sha giant beasts who were chasing him. 2 more hours passed like this. Song Chi's eyes suddenly narrowed. He had finally seized the opportunity he had been waiting for. Turning to look at the Silver 3 Generation Superwave Magical Energy Detection Radar, at the side, it could be seen that at this moment, the position of the 3 Yan Sha giant beasts at the rear happened to form an equilateral triangle, and the distance between them was very close. It was precisely this opportunity that Song Kai suddenly activated the Void Escape Orb component. His continuous pulling of the 3 Yan Sha giant beasts in pursuit was naturally not for fun. He had been waiting for this Void Escape Orb to complete its buffer. Humming. After a slight spatial fluctuation, Kongchong suddenly disappeared from its original position, and when it reappeared, it was right at the center of the 3 Yan Sha giant beasts. That's right, Song Kai had intentionally moved Kongchong to the center of the 3 Yan Sha giant beasts. But this was not a whimsical action, rather a carefully planned maneuver. Sensing the position of Kongchong, the 3 Yan Sha giant beasts instinctively turned around, pointing their ferocious heads towards Kongchong in the center, and a large amount of the law of Earth surged from their bodies, rapidly heading towards Kongchong. By the time Kongchong was completely bound, the three Yan Sha giant beasts charged with roars, their terrifying rocky horns at the head, wrapped in an unstoppable force. From their momentum, it seemed that they wouldn't stop until they had crushed everything in their path. Kangchong main control room. Song Kai watched all of this indifferently, his expression unshaken, and he was also murmuring something softly to himself. 3, 2, 1 as the word, one, was spoken. The three Yan Sha were almost upon Kangchong, just a few meters away, and under the impact of their fearsome earth energy. Kangchong was shaking violently, its energy shield value on the ship's surface plummeting rapidly. It was at that moment that a sharp light shot from Song Chi's eyes. Now is the time. Neutron star core fission, activate. Humming. At this moment, all life fell silent, minds blank, horrific flames and extreme heat searing around the micro-neutron star that Kangchong had transformed into, spanning hundreds of thousands of kilometers as if stepping into a fiery paradise of sheer flames and scorching heat, with nothing else in existence. As Kangchong shifted into the form of a micro-neutron star, the three Yan Sha giant beasts, being the closest, were naturally the first to bear the brunt. In an instant, three massive creatures, each more than 6,000 kilometers in size, began to emit billowing smoke from their bodies as their flesh evaporated at an extreme rate under the terrifying high temperatures approaching tens of millions of degrees from a miniature neutron star. Hiss, hiss, hiss. After their heads had melted away by half, they could hardly even let out a hissing roar, and upon seeing the current state of the three Yan Sea giants, Song Kai couldn't help but be astonished. The injuries of the three Yan Sea giants were terrifying, not at all inferior to when Kangchong directly activated neutron star fission inside the mouth of a golden armored giant beast. In fact, they were even more serious. After a brief moment of surprise, Song Kai quickly came to a realization. When he was battling the golden armored giant beast previously, the enhancement level of the neutron star core armor component had not yet reached 4th rank, but now, this component's enhancement level had reached LV43. The substantial upgrade at great rank had further intensified the terrifying high temperature carried by the transformed, miniature neutron star. He remembered that during the battle against the golden armored giant beast, the temperature emitted by the miniature neutron star was merely over 5 million degrees, but just now, it had reached a shocking 8 million degrees, which obviously resulted in a vastly different destructive power. Without dwelling on this issue, Song Chi's mind moved, and he started charging the Pure Yang sword beam cannon, while simultaneously sending the Void Demon out of the warship again. At this moment, the three Yan Sea giants were already in a critically wounded state. All that was needed was to finish them off, and there was no longer any need to worry about other dangers. As expected, no further incidents occurred. Under the continuous attacks from Kangchong and the Void Demon, the three Yan Sea giants were successively slain. With the death of the last Yan Sea giant, it signified that Song Kai had officially cleared the 76th level. Just like the previous 74th and 75th levels, upon clearing this level, he once again received 2 hours of rest time. Without any other actions, Song Kai sat quietly in the battleship main control room and immediately entered deep sleep. 2 hours later, the familiar ancient voice sounded again. Are you sure you want to challenge the 77th level of the Heritage Tower? Once you start? Before the voice could finish, Song Kai immediately chose to refuse. It was a joke. By now, almost all of Kangchong's trump cards had been expended. Continuing to challenge would ensure that there was no outcome waiting for him other than death. Of course, if he could enter the Zutian Ruins market on his own, that would be a different story. Thinking of the Zutian Ruins market, a thought flickered in his mind. He was indeed curious to try and see if he could enter the Zutian Ruins market at this moment. As soon as the thought crossed his mind, he prepared to activate the Star Sea Ruin market rank within his ancestral aperture between his brows to give it a try, but at that moment, a new pulling force suddenly descended upon Kangchong. Before he could react, the scene in front of him changed once again. Unlike the previous pitch-black starry space, this time Kangchong was inside a boundless Pusuo ancient hall. The reason for calling it the Pusuo Ancient Hall was that hanging high above the hall were 4 characters inscribed in ancient script familiar to him. Pusuo Shrine. Subconsciously surveying the surroundings, he wasn't the only one in the ancient hall. There were also more than 1,000 secondary round challengers present. At this moment, all living beings stood quietly in this ancient hall, solemn and reverent, and the entire hall was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Night Port and Song Zi's flagship are here too. They finished their challenges earlier than me. As soon as he spotted the 2 escort ships of Night Port, Song Kai muttered to himself and then settled down to wait quietly. Time passed, and after several hours, many alien races successively appeared in the ancient hall following him. None of the beings showed any unusual reactions to this. Since everyone had different speeds of completing the challenge, appearing earlier did not necessarily mean they had challenged fewer levels, nor did appearing later signify tackling more levels. Suddenly, the ancient hall emitted a burst of the eternal voice, signifying that all the creatures of this round had completed their challenges. What followed was the reward and assessment stage that everyone was eagerly anticipating. Of course, this assessment was for each challenger, and all living beings could only see their own final evaluation and rewards. Under the anticipation of the masses, a giant screen of light slowly descended upon the expanse of the Pusuo Shrine above. Looking up, one could see ancient characters dancing upon this immense screen. Star Domain Level Genius Orange Oddities Reward, 42 Right Pointing Arrow 43. Star System Level Genius Red Oddities Reward, 2 Right Pointing Arrow 3. River System Level Genius Silver Oddities Reward, none. Every flicker of these ancient characters signified the addition of a new challenger to the corresponding rewards assessment column. However, more than 99% of the challenging creatures ended up with only the orange oddities as their rewards. Even those 4th-rank challenging creatures, whose stakes were red oddities, would end up with rewards of red oddities as well, but they were actually only in the lowest category of star domain level geniuses. As time went on, the dance of the 3 lines of ancient characters continued, and when the star domain level geniuses evaluation column finally broke through to 4 digits, the Silver Oddities reward column finally saw change for the first time. However, the silver light of this Silver Oddities recipient was exceptionally dim, indicating that it was only the lowest level star domain level genius, meaning it was a 6th-rank life form that had only met the normal passing standards. Song Kai, at this moment, did not pay much attention to these external matters, his gaze fixed solely on the evaluation screen before him, on which ancient characters were slowly emerging one by one. Final Challenge Level 76, 2nd Rank Peak, Frontal Killing of 3 4th-rank Starry Sky Behemoths, based on the tower's final evaluation, can be regarded as a Beyond River System level genius. Seeing the last 6 characters, Beyond River System level genius, Song Chi's breathing became somewhat rapid. He was not unfamiliar with the term, river system. It was the title given to a star river that was wider than the Milky Way of his previous life. Taking the Heavenly Disk Galaxy where the Chengxing Principality was located as an example, its sprawling diameter reached the astounding distance of 1 million light-years, frighteningly vast. Beyond River System level genius, as the name implied, should refer to a genius life form that appeared only once every so many years within the vast starry sea that spanned more than 1 million light-years. The excitement in Song Chi's heart at receiving such a high evaluation from the Pusuo Heritage Tower was self-evident. As for this, he had some thoughts. The reason he received such an evaluation was most likely due to him successfully killing all 3 4th-rank Yansha giant beasts at the end. Otherwise, simply clearing 75 floors would probably, at best, merit an evaluation as a river system level genius. On this, Song Kai felt somewhat fortunate. He knew he had encountered some luck. The creatures simulated by the Pusuo Heritage Tower possessed normal intelligence and were by no means puppet-like automata that mechanically executed commands. Yet, they were different from real living beings in some respects. Under the tower's command to kill the challenger to the fullest extent possible, They prioritized the tower's orders over their own safety and life. This led to the final outcome. If it had been normal 4th-rank lifeforms, no matter how clever Song Chi's planning, it would be difficult to say that 3 4th-rank lifeforms would have let their guard down enough to get that close, especially after Kang Chong fled to the sky, still exposing their weakest skulls simultaneously. Shaking his head, he didn't dwell on these things further. Regardless, receiving the evaluation of a Beyond River System level genius was a fact, and now all Song Kai anticipated was what rank of reward he would receive. Red, silver, or perhaps something above silver? With full curiosity and anticipation, he moved his gaze toward the bottom of the screen. As expected, at this moment, detailed reward entries were listed under the screen. Based on your challenge evaluation, you may freely choose from the following 5 rewards. 1. Zen Meditation Seal. Golden Sanctuary. 2. High-level Light Attribute Law Crystal, Silver Legend. 3. Heavenly Authority Main Cannon, Silver Legend. 4. Heavenly Authority Holy Sword, Silver Legend. 5. Emperor Barbarian Tribe Royal Blood Soldier Figurine, Silver Legend. Please note, the first item is the only choice. Once chosen, you cannot receive other rewards. If you rule out the first item, you can freely choose 2 out of items 2 to 5 as your reward for this challenge. You have 2 minutes to make your selection. Please decide quickly. Song Chi's feelings were indescribable at this moment. The evaluation of a Beyond River System level genius had prepared him to some extent, knowing that the rewards he would receive this time might be very precious, but he had not expected them to be so astonishingly so. 1 gold and 4 silver. What did that imply? Keep in mind that silver legendary oddities were already touching upon the 7th rank level, and gold would naturally be even more rare. At this moment, he finally knew the name for the quality of oddities that ranked above silver legendary oddities. Golden Sanctuary. Quickly regaining his composure, Song Kai forced himself to refocus on the 5 reward options before him. There wasn't time now to contemplate such things, as he needed to make a decision quickly. Should he choose the unique Golden Sanctuary wondrous item, Zen Meditation Seal, as the first option, or select 2 items of legendary quality from items 2 to 5? Clearly, this put him in a dilemma. Logically, with the 1 rank, single-tier notation for the quality of Shattered Starry Sea oddities, he should not hesitate to choose this Zen Meditation Seal, but the actual situation was not so simple. These 5 options were only listed in text. The actual strange objects were not displayed, which made it impossible for Song Kai to gauge whether the so-called Zen Meditation Seal could be transformed into a component for the Torch warship. If it could ultimately be transformed, that would be perfect, but what if it couldn't be turned into a warship component? If such was indeed the case, Song Kai could even imagine his future frustration, like a mute person tasting something bitter. The several silver legendary oddities listed below, however, were different. Not to mention the others, at least the high-level law crystal with light attribute, and the sovereign blood soldier figurine of the barbarian tribe, would definitely play a significant role. There's no need to elaborate on the law crystal. In its rank, it's already considered one of the most valuable, and as long as one finds a life form corresponding to the law, it would undoubtedly sell for a very satisfactory price. And if he guessed right about the sovereign blood soldier figurine of the barbarian tribe, it must be a silver quality component of the soldier figurine tree. Besides, the super main cannon of the heavenly authority could also likely be transformed into one of the onboard components like the main cannon, super main cannon, or even the star annihilating cannon, which made the option of choosing the silver legendary oddities rewards much more certain compared to the Zen Meditation Seal, and this was the source of Song Chi's dilemma. You have 10 seconds left to make your choice, please hurry. This sudden prompt became the final push for Song Kai to make up his mind. With the prompt's announcement, he hesitated no more. I choose the first option. When he spoke the first word, Song Chi's voice was clearly trembling slightly, but he still firmly articulated it clearly and completely. Choosing the silver legendary oddities as a reward would have been safer, and he could select two, but in the face of the 4 words, Golden Sanctuary, it still seemed too weak, at least that's what Song Kai thought. If he missed this chance, Song Kai didn't know when he would next encounter a Golden Sanctuary quality wondrous item, but he did know that it would be a very long time, starting at least from a decade. So, he made his decision with conviction. As the choice was confirmed, the projection screen in front of him quietly disappeared. Subsequently, Song Kai felt a dazzling golden light appear in front of him that filled the interior space of the Kang Chong, causing him to subconsciously close his eyes tightly. This situation did not last long. When Song Kai reopened his eyes, the glittering golden light had already dissipated, replaced by a small, floating orb of light before him. This orb also emitted a thick golden light, yet it was not blinding. Upon a closer look, one could even vaguely see a small seal-like object within the orb of light. Seeing this, an anxious Song Kai hurriedly channeled the spectral energy within his body toward the palm of his hand, while simultaneously reaching out towards the light orb before him. At this moment, his mind was occupied by only one thought: to verify whether the strange object could be transformed into a warship component. What Song Kai didn't know was that, while he was busy checking the attributes of the strange object, the outside world had already descended into chaos. Many exclamations arose within the usually quiet Pusuo shrine. Then looking at the giant projection screen above, Starry Sea Alien Race of the Star Domain Tier, Orange Oddities Reward, 4280 right pointing arrow 4281. Starry Sea Alien Race of the Star System Tier, Red Curio Reward, 21 right pointing arrow 22. Starry Sea Alien Race of the River Domain Tier, Silver Miraculous Item Reward, 3 right pointing arrow 4. Starry Sea Alien Race of the Super River Domain Tier, Golden Oddity Reward, 0 right pointing arrow 1. What shocked the myriad Starry Sea Alien Race individuals was the newly added category of Super River Domain Tier, and the appearance of the Golden Oddity. No creature could remain indifferent. One should know that even in advanced civilizations, top-rank golden oddities could represent the heritage of a civilization. And now, this item, worthy of an advanced civilization's heritage, was blatantly appearing before everyone's eyes. Who could ignore it? The handful of 6th-rank beings among the challenging lifeforms were now scanning their surroundings desperately, trying to figure out who had obtained this golden tier sanctuary wondrous item. However, this was obviously impossible, for the rewards issued by the Pusuo Heritage Tower could only be seen by the challengers themselves. Unaware of these events, Song Kai was still focused on examining the attribute panel before him. Marvel. Zen Meditation Seal. Quality: Gold. Convertible. Purusha Zen Seal. Note: once a creation of the Purusha civilization, it has merged a great amount of time law's power. As a golden sanctuary wondrous item, it possesses unimaginable might. Upon seeing that the convertible column was not empty, and that the Purusha Zen Seal was indeed a type of ship component, the tension and worry on Song Chi's face turned entirely into excitement at this moment. Clearly, he had bet correctly. In his joy, he did not forget to continue examining the specific attributes of the Purusha Zen Seal component. Purusha Zen Seal LV0 Quality. Gold feature. The component always consumes 3 slots when installed. Feature 2. Zen Seal. Inner Speed Feature 3. Zen Seal. External Time Stop. Feature 4. Time Resistance plus 1000 Feature 5. Pusuo Time Realm. Slow. Consumption: 40 per second. Spectral Energy Points. Effect: when the equipped warship is affected by external time laws during an attack, it will autonomously reduce its own might by 30%. No charge or buffer required. Up rank requirement: 40 strands of floating land origin, 0 rank, 4000 spectral energy points, 10 grams sand of time. Zen Seal. Inner Speed. Consumes 50,000 spectral energy points, targets a ship component that is in a state of buffer or charging, and applies time acceleration to it or one of its features. If the buffer or charging time of this component or the component's feature is less than 1 month, then it will be completed instantly in the next second. Otherwise, the buffer or charging time will be reduced by 80%, with a cooldown time of 240 hours. P.S. Do you understand or not? Zen Seal. External time stop. Consumes 50,000 spectral energy points, casts on designated units within a 1,000 meter range, pausing time around them for once, with a cooldown time of 720 hours. Pusuo Time Realm. Slow. Consumes 100,000 spectral energy points, centering on the equipped warship, creates a time barrier with a diameter of 10,000 meters. Within the barrier, time will be slowed down by half, including the actions, reactions, thought processes, and energy transmission of living beings. Note: the casting warship itself is unaffected, with a duration of 2 minutes and a cooldown time of 10 years. After reading through the attributes of the Purusha Zen Seal component, the word fuck involuntarily slipped from Song Chi's mouth. The attributes of this component truly live up to the name of the Golden Sanctuary. As for the specifics of its strength, let's not even talk about its own reduction of the power of time law, one of the strongest laws in the Starry Sea. The key lies in those several features. Firstly, the Zen Seal inner speed feature, which can make all components or features with a buffering or charging time of less than 1 month complete their buffer or charge instantly in the next second, and for those longer than a month, it can directly cut down 80% of the time. This might still sound a bit vague, so let's take an example. Take the Mixed Hollow Extreme Yang Sword Intent Divine Light feature of the Pure Yang Sword Beam Cannon component. After enhancing it to LV49, its buffering time is 4 hours. If we apply the Zen Seal inner speed feature to it, it means that just 1 second after firing the first Mixed Hollow Extreme Yang Sword Intent Divine Light, it can be triggered again for a second time. If we were to apply this to the Enslavement Mark Frenzy feature, which currently has a cooldown time of 6 months, it would not be able to finish buffering in 1 second but would only be able to reduce 80% of the time, which means it still requires 36 days to be ready again. As for whether it could be used a second time, Song Kai guessed that it probably wouldn't work, and it's likely that a component or a feature can only take effect once before completing a full cooldown cycle. For this feature, Song Kai felt it was a perfect match with the present Kang Chong. After all, apart from the Enslavement Mark Frenzy feature, the Secret Realm Accelerator feature of the Cultivation Secret Realm could also benefit from it. Both features have long buffering times, one being half a year and the Secret Realm Accelerator even being as long as 1 year. Now with the Zen Seal inner speed feature, both could complete their buffering in the shortest time possible. The only thing that Song Kai felt was a pity was the fact that this feature was clearly a fixed feature, and no matter how much its enhancement level increased later on, its attributes would not receive any further amplification. Nevertheless, he was still exceptionally excited, because if the Zen Seal inner speed feature were applied to the Secret Realm Accelerator feature, the frequency of future harvests of the Silver Apple would be beyond imagination. This was a rare resource that could specifically enhance the quality of a certain component. Just thinking about it was exhilarating. Besides the Zen Seal inner speed, the Zen Seal external time stop was also a top-rank feature. Its effect was to impose a temporal binding on a designated unit, making it an exceptionally hard to defend against and avoid control feature. The last feature was the Pusuo Time Realm Slow, which actually resembled a special kind of domain power, also with equally terrifying effects. Don't let the current rate of time slow only being 1x fool you. This feature is not fixed, and as the component is further enhanced, the rate at which time can be slowed is capable of further increase. Not to mention much, but rates like 5x, 10x should still be achievable, and the coverage area of the barrier would also increase. Just imagine, once this barrier is activated, all enemy units within the entire barrier would only be able to combat with their actions and thoughts slowed down by 5 or 10 times. What kind of overwhelmingly one-sided situation would that be? However, the cooldown time of this feature is a serious drawback, a full 10 years. Even though subsequent enhancements would reduce it slightly, the reduction would likely not be substantial. In addition to these 3 features, the first one, the slot consumption for part loading is a fixed number of 3, is actually quite a good feature as well. Just think, special components of merely red quality often require 3 slots each, let alone those that are 2 grades higher than gold components. Usually, the consumption of slots by gold special components would be at least 5, some may even reach 6, which means this feature saved at least 2 special slots for Kang Chong. Alas, some people say I deliberately pad the number of features, so I've changed trait 1. After the strong excitement subsided, Song Kai quieted down, his brows tightly knitted, no longer showing the previous joy. The attributes of the Purusha Zen Seal component go without saying, absolutely top rank among top ranks, but what gives a headache is that, as a time class auxiliary special component, one of the resources required for its enhancement is called the Sand of Time. Up to now, he had not heard of the existence of such a resource. Having never heard of it, getting it in the short term is probably not an easy task, a thought that filled Song Kai with helplessness. Shaking his head, trying not to think about it any longer, it wasn't necessarily impossible for the family. When he asked the family head later, maybe there would be a surprise. After all, the Song family had a nearly 3,000-year heritage. How could the clan not have some foundations? It's possible there is some of this Sand of Time. And even if there wasn't, the family should have corresponding channels or information. Once he officially became 7th sequence, Song Kai believed the family would provide him with such support. Thinking thus, to be on the safe side, he directly loaded the Purusha Zen Seal component onto Kang Chong. With this component's installation, Kang Chong now only had one last vacant slot left. It was soon going to be insufficient. Purple Torch Hull level LV20. Kang Chong currently has 34 special slots, 2 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. And after this, Purusha Zen Seal was loaded, the special slots occupied by special components on Kang Chong came to 33. For this, Song Chi's solution couldn't be simpler. Are you sure you want to upgrade the Purple Torch Hull from LV20 to LV21? Confirmed. After 9 consecutive times, Kang Chong's torch hull reached LV29, and at LV25, the warship gained an additional 8 slots. This restored the spare special slots to 9, maintaining a safe range. As for whether the torch hull LV29 would directly trigger the torch warship promotion quest, there was no need to worry about that. The promotion quest for the torch warship needs to be actively initiated by the captain himself. Unless the captain agrees, this issue would not arise. Thinking of this torch warship promotion quest, Song Kai couldn't help but sigh once again. It was unfortunate that the guardian creatures killed in the virtual illusion space were not officially recognized by the torch warship as an alien race. Whether or not they produced floating land origin was another matter, as Song Kai currently did not lack those few strands of 3rd-rank floating land origin. The key was that since they were not recognized by the torch warship, the kills couldn't be counted as bathing in alien race blood. Otherwise, he would have already started the warship promotion quest for Kang Chong early on. 10 4th-rank level stellar sea creatures, it's feared they could have hauled Kang Chong into 3rd rank. While Song Kai was amid his chaotic thoughts, the sudden ring of a warship communication request pulled him back to reality. The communication came from Song Zi's side, but it was not a private conversation. Instead, it was a group chat. Initially, Song Kai was puzzled as to why Song Zi dared to initiate communication directly within the Pusuo Shrine, but then he instantly understood after seeing the discussions rising and falling within the ancient temple. The moment the communication was connected, in the group chat, both Song Zi and Song Gang almost simultaneously asked, "How did it go? Are the assessment results out? What reward did you receive?" Already anticipating this result, Song Chi's face showed a brief smile. He didn't reply directly but instead asked, "What about you?" Seeing Song Kai act like this, Song Zi and the other person also smiled and hid their thoughts. Eventually all three tacitly chose silence. In a corner out of the other two's sight, Song Kai shook his head. About 2 minutes of silence passed before Song Zi finally took the initiative to break it. "Have you seen it? A golden sanctuary wondrous item? Among our batch of challengers, there's actually a creature that obtained a golden oddity." Golden sanctuary. This is actually the first time I've heard of a quality above silver legend. A look of surprise flashed in Song Chi's eyes, as this was not quite what he had expected. As a great-grandson of a 4th-rank clan elder in his family, Song Zi should have been privy to many secrets, and if it were said that an old 4th-rank torch ship captain from the Song family was unaware of the specific breakdown of oddities above silver legendary items, he would have outright disbelieved it. The thought did not linger long in his mind, and upon reflection, it was actually quite easy to explain. Song Zi is currently only a 2nd-rank torch ship captain, and his great-grandfather probably didn't want him to aim too high. As time went by, Song Chi's gaze occasionally swept over the giant projection screen floating in the space ahead. Star Domain Level Talent Orange Oddities Reward. 5012 Right Pointing Arrow 5013. Stellar System Level Talent Red Curio Reward. 25 Right Pointing Arrow 26. Galactic Level Talent Silver Miraculous Item Reward. 5 Right Pointing Arrow 6. Super Galactic Level Talent Golden Oddity Reward. 0 Right Pointing Arrow 1. As he glanced over again, a strong force of repulsion suddenly struck, and before the creatures in the ancient palace could react, more than 7,000 beings from various alien races were simultaneously teleported out of the Pusuo Heritage Tower. Clearly, the second round of challenges and the final assessments were all complete. Outside the Pusuo Heritage Tower, under the gaze of tens of thousands from the Starry Sea alien race, Song Kai and thousands of other alien races appeared one after another, followed by the tower presenting the specific results of this second round of challenges. Inside the Kang Chong, the very moment the challenge results appeared, Song Kai sensed something was amiss. Those 6 words of the Golden Oddity Reward in the 4th row seemed to have boundless magic, rendering the entire atmosphere around the Pusuo Heritage Tower extremely eerie. The originally noisy void of space fell into an eerie silence at that moment. Reacting most quickly, a group of challengers immediately streaked downwards, returning to the side of their respective elders. The Kang Chong was among them as well. Song Xuanchong had emphasized multiple times before that the star domain surrounding the Pusuo Heritage Tower was able to maintain a certain order simply because all alien races had tacitly agreed to it, not because of any order established by the tower itself. Since the order was decided by all the alien races themselves, it could never be very solid. A small spark could ignite the whole thing at the right moment. This Golden Sanctuary wondrous item apparently had all it took to be that so-called spark. Because he reacted very swiftly, there weren't many complications. The Kang Chong easily returned to the vicinity of the Kang Mang Wuji. But not all beings had such sharp crisis awareness. After Song Kai and the first batch of challengers who reacted reached the side of their elders, almost immediately, a terrifying battle broke out around the Pusuo Heritage Tower. Countless attacks imbued with the power of laws surged toward those thousands of second-round challenger creatures in the sky. Although some of the creatures' elders tried to block the attacks, it was to no avail. In the blink of an eye, more than 1/3 of the nearly 7,000 challenger creatures in the sky were killed. The chaos of flying flesh mingling with numerous high-quality Starry Sea oddities, including many orange and red ones. As for the Song family, aside from Song Kai, both Song Gang and Song Zi were a step too slow. Their 2 escort ships were almost immediately engulfed in an onslaught of law attacks. It was only because the energy shields and warship armor of both ships were enhanced to 4th rank level that they did not instantly vanish under this terrible onslaught. However, they couldn't last long either. At this moment, there were far more than tens of thousands of 4th rank and above alien races attacking. It wasn't just 4th rank level energy shields and warship armor at stake. Even 5th rank levels would likely not withstand it. Less than 2 seconds, and the energy shields on the surface of the 2 escort ships had completely dimmed, having been depleted down to an overload state. Even the warship armor was now pitted with all sorts of craters, clearly unable to hold out much longer. Below, Song Xuanchang's reaction was certainly not slow, actually even a bit faster than Song Kai. Upon seeing the 6 characters of Golden Sanctuary Wondrous Item, he immediately activated a certain component on the Kang Mang Wuji. 2 beams of light shot out from the Kang Mang Wuji Zhulu warship towards the 2 escort ships in the sky above. Song Zi's flagship was okay, since the location it teleported to was already not far from the Kang Mang Wuji. Now enveloped by this beam of light, it rapidly descended towards the ground. But the night port was not so lucky. It was quite a distance away from the Kang Mang Wuji. Although it was also within the range of the beam, its might had been greatly worn down by the infinite laws high above during the shooting process. Now, the protection the beam provided to the night port was limited, and furthermore, the brilliance of the beam itself was rapidly fading. It looked like it wouldn't hold out much longer. Inside the night port, Song Gang's face turned extremely grim, his eyes filled with panic. He was inwardly roaring. As a genius emerging from the ancestral vein with a grandfather who was a 4th rank clan elder, he had always been the focus of all clan members wherever he went. He was just over 30. There was so much life left to enjoy. He had not yet stepped into the 4th rank to become one of the leading figures in the family. How could he die here in such frustration? After venting his fury inside, Song Gang turned his gaze towards a special component aboard the night port. Short-range positioning device. Gazing at the purple quality special component, his peripheral vision also caught a glimpse of the Kang Chong next to the distant Kang Mang Wuji. If there was a safest location at the moment, aside from inside the body of the Kang Mang Wuji Zhulu warship, it would be the Kang Chong closest to it. With this thought, a cold light flashed in Song Gang's eyes, and he subconsciously remembered the scene on the evil Buddha continent when Song Kai chose not to help him. It immediately made him resolute. Accompanied by a burst of purple light, the short-range positioning device component was activated. At the same time, on the Kang Chong above the side of the Kang Mang Wuji, hearing the prompt from the semi-automatic shipboard AI, Song Chi's gaze suddenly sharpened. Attention! The warship is locked by an unknown power. Please evade. If Song Kai still had some doubts at the moment, the next second's message from the abnormal status purifier component turned his gaze instantly cold. Positioning mark. This was a special mark detected by the abnormal status purifier component on the Kang Chong. With this result, Song Chi's icy gaze suddenly swept towards the distant night port in the sky above. By the direction conveyed through the gradually intensifying positional force and considering who would benefit the most from swapping positions with him, it was not difficult to guess that the one causing trouble was none other than Song Gang. When he withdrew his gaze, Song Kai suddenly scoffed coldly. Swap positions? You have to be quick enough for that. Aboard the Kang Chong, the purification aura derived from the abnormal status purifier was working at full force to drive away this positioning mark. Although the component that had emitted the mark might have been enhanced to the 4th rank, making the abnormal status purifier unable to purify it immediately, it nonetheless greatly weakened the effect of the mark. Inside the night port, Song Gang's expression went from a sneer the previous moment to one of terror. Though the positional ability was still gradually taking effect, compared to previous times, it was far too slow, and by now, the layer of the beam outside the night port had completely dissipated. He didn't have the time to wait. Damn it! Why is it so slow? With words filled with bitterness, the hull of Nightport finally could not withstand it anymore and completely sank under the bombardment of dense laws from the outside world. And the moment the flagship sank, since the captain himself had not left the warship, Song Gang also died along with it. Song Gang, or rather the sinking of the Nightport, went unnoticed among those thousands of stellar sea creatures above, yet to the few members of the Song family, it was absolutely no small matter. Aside from his innate gift, which was quite impressive, his own grandfather was also a clan elder of the ancestral vein, with no low standing in the family hierarchy, which meant that neither of these aspects would have a small impact. Of course, these were the thoughts of Song Xuanchang and Song Zi. Song Kai thought differently. In his view, Song Gang got what he deserved. Although the Kang Mang Wuji was currently emitting a not-so-weak domain power, pushing all the alien species creatures in the vicinity nearly 3,000 meters away, Song Kai believed that if Song Gang had chosen any creature outside of the 3,000 meters as his displacement target, Song Xuanchang would have been able to pull it into the domain in no time. Alas, the man was vengeful and, on top of that, extremely afraid of death, insisting on taking the safest place, the Kongchang, as his displacement object. Wasn't this just asking for trouble? Inside the Kang Mang Wuji, Song Xuanchang frowned slightly but said nothing. Through the domain power emitted by the flagship, he certainly perceived the last maneuver of the night port, but now that the other party was dead, as the family head, it was not good to say anything more. With a thought, another component on the Kang Mang Wuji was activated, and then the descent speed of Song Zi's flagship being pulled through the sky increased once more. Song Kai noticed the change but didn't pay too much attention to it. His focus had already shifted to other matters. The vast number of starry sea oddities that were emerging above. White and blue ones could be ignored, but starry sea oddities of purple quality and above were indeed tantalizing. Merely with a casual glance, Song Kai had spotted at least a 4-digit number of purple relics, not to mention orange and red curios in no small quantity. In this regard, even though he had just obtained a golden sanctuary wondrous item, Song Kai still found it hard to remain calm. His eyes flickering uncertainly, Song Kai thought rapidly, weighing the possibilities of how he might benefit. What he could be sure of was, once Song Zi was pulled into the domain of the Kang Mang Wuji, Song Xuanchang would immediately teleport away, without staying for an extra second. The combat power of the Kang Mang Wuji was indeed not weak. It had the strength to confront a 5th rank level stellar sea alien race head-on. But was this a matter of 4th rank, 5th rank right now? Tens of thousands of 4th rank and above beings fighting, each additional second meant increased risk of sinking. Therefore, Song Kai did not have much time to scheme for those numerous high-rank oddities in the sky. He must decide quickly. After much deliberation, he could only use the Zutian Ruins Market and the Ruins Market walking rank as the core elements of his plan. A flash of light in his hand, and 7 tokens emitting a silvery white glow were summoned, which were the 7 Ruins Market walking ranks. The Ruins Market is now LV28, having consolidated 9 travel commands. Besides Elon's and those from the Trent race, all other Ruins Market walking ranks are here. Let's hope for some good luck. Muttering to himself, the component of the Fire Peony Soldier effigy tree on the side was also activated, and 10 LV29 Fire Peony Soldier figurines appeared inside the Kongchang. His gaze swept over these 10 second rank Fire Peony Soldier figurines, and Song Kai shook his head. He then handed over the 7 Ruins Market walking ranks to 7 of the figurines. If possible, he would have preferred to let the 4th rank Void Assassin Clan Soldier figurines make the attempt, which would greatly increase the chance of success, but alas, the Zutian Ruins Market was currently only 2nd rank, and the Ruins Market walking rank could only allow 2nd rank and below creatures to use it and enter the market. This was not yet the end. Song Kai had 5 of the Fire Peony Soldier figurines activate the law enhancement status of the travel command, which would allow them to persist for a longer time later. Unfortunately, the other 2 had previously been used in the Pusuo Heritage Tower and had not yet completed the buffer. The 10 Fire Peony Soldier figurines were positioned successively on 3 launch pads in a 442 arrangement, and the number of travel commands was arranged as 322. Ensuring that every group of the Fire Peony Soldier figurines deployed later had the chance to send back any oddities they managed to seize to the market. Regrettably, the 3 launch pads were not large, each only able to accommodate 4 soldier figurines. So Song Kai could only add 2 Void Assassin Clan soldier figurines to the last one, and then marked 1 Fire Peony soldier figurine with a brainwave imprint on each of the 3 launch pads. After arranging all of this, he didn't rush to deploy. Instead, he continued to observe the situation above. After a while, 70% of this second round's challengers had already turned to mush under the indiscriminate attacks, which made the number of starry sea strange objects floating above even more astonishing. Although many among them were scooped away by various means by the alien species below, those were only a small part. But even though there were many strange objects, Song Kai told himself not to rush. Since he decided to take advantage of this big opportunity, he had to try to pick the best ones. Purple as the base, orange as the main, red as the best. At this moment, Song Kai was selecting the specific landing spots for the 3 launch pads. Only those areas dense with orange and red curios could increase the chances of the Fire Peony soldier figurines retrieving prizes. Time passed, and Song Zi's flagship was now less than 3,500 meters above the Kang Mang Wuji, protected by a beam of light and about to enter the domain. Seeing this, Song Kai no longer waited, and with a thought, the 2 deployment components and 3 launch pads were activated simultaneously. Buzz. 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 After a slight space fluctuation, 10 Fire Peony soldier figurines plus 2 from the Void Assassin Clan vanished within the Kongchong, and almost simultaneously, faint spatial ripples transmitted from 3 areas above, densely packed with orange and red curios. Right after that, the 12 soldier figurines appeared out of nowhere. Inside the Kongchong, in the blink of an eye, Song Kai turned pale as reports of soldier figurine deaths started coming in from 2 of the soldier figurine tree components. To Song Kai, this wasn't unexpected. After all, it was the area with the highest concentration of high-rank oddities, so the attacks and prying he faced here were naturally the strongest. It was normal for the mere 2nd-rank Fire Peony soldier figurines and pseudo-4th-rank Void Assassin Clan soldier figurines to not withstand such a scene. The reason for his change of expression was the death of one of the soldier figurines imprinted with his brainwave, meaning the entire group linked to it would lose its chance. Gathering his spirit, Song Kai could only shift his focus onto the other 2 groups. At that instant, under the vision provided by his brainwave imagery, he swiftly maneuvered several Fire Peony soldier figurines to collect nearby oddities. After grasping 1 or 2 oddities, without any delay, he immediately activated the Ruins Market walking command, intending to first send the items to the Ruins Market. Despite such decisiveness, under the all-encompassing bombardment of the laws surrounding them, all soldier figurines lasted less than 2 seconds before they were nearly completely annihilated by the energy blasts. Only 3 managed to transport near the Ruins Market, with 1 just half a puppet body, which lost its signs of life right after entering the market walking room. With no time to return to the Ruins Market to see what kind of oddities these 3 Fire Peony soldier figurines had secured for him, or how many there were, and also lacking the time to withdraw them from the market for a second attempt, the Kang Mang Wuji had already successfully retrieved Song Zi. The next second, the space around the Zhulu warship rapidly contracted until only the last 300 meters were left, barely encompassing the 2 escort ships before stopping. Song Kai didn't miss this but instead watched the Kang Mang Wuji with an interested look. If he wasn't mistaken, during the moment when Song Zi's flagship was being pulled back, he saw 2 starry sea oddities emitting faint red glows within the beam emitted by the Kang Mang Wuji. This meant that, while Song Xuanchong intervened to save him, he also casually snatched back 2 red epic quality strange objects, and what's key is he employed special methods to obscure the luster of the 2 red oddities, thus evading most of the alien race's prying eyes. To this, Song Kai could only silently praise, the old ginger is still spicier. Don't resist. A slightly heavy voice echoed within the 2 escort ships. Both Song Kai and the other knew that the family head was preparing to teleport them away directly. Although they were only on the outskirts of the chaotic battle zone, leaving safely was anything but simple, relying solely on special space escaping abilities. But there were too many alien species around, so many that despite Song Xuanchang's deliberate concealment of the luster of the two red epic treasures, they were inadvertently captured by some alien lifeforms. Driven by their desire for the two epic treasures, the moment before the Kangmang Wuji was about to teleport away, two fifth-rank starry sea creatures, towering 10,000 meters tall, made their move. As lifeforms at the fifth-rank level, with their comprehension of laws already reaching extremely high realms, their attack was earth-shattering. Mysterious ice froze the starry sea while rocks and soil spears tore through the void. One ice, one earth. Two utterly different law attacks swept in from both sides, carrying might that was vast and fearsome. Within the Kongchong, Song Qi's eyes widened. Compared to the methods controlled by fourth-rank lifeforms, the power of laws wielded by fifth-rank lifeforms was simply too terrifying. Such an ability to tear through the fabric of the starry sea void was something fourth-rank lifeforms couldn't achieve, could they? The looming mysterious ice and giant rocks filled his entire field of view, their broad range of spread causing fear and even leaving him without the thought to dodge. This was what mattered most. At that moment, he truly realized the gap between the fourth-rank evil Buddha from the evil Buddha continent, boosted to fifth-rank combat power by the floating land origin, and a genuine fifth-rank life form. Yet even so, our family member in the second sequence still had a hard time contending head-on with them, which also shows that the gap between fourth-rank units and fifth-rank life forms is probably far greater than we had imagined. As Song Qi's thoughts were unsettled, the mysterious ice principle that blotted out the sky was already seeping forth, entwined with that 10,000-meter-long earthen spear. However, the Kangmang Wuji, as a Zhulu warship, also responded in kind. The several thousand-meter-long hull suddenly transformed, with the discordant sound of metal grinding persistently echoing, and in an instant, the Kangmang Wuji had shifted from a Zhulu warship into a nearly 4,000-meter-tall mythical mecha giant. A long halberd, dazzling with blinding silver light, was grasped in the center of the mecha giant's hand. At the same time, boundless power from the space law suffused the interior of the mecha giant, half converging into the silver long halberd in the giant's palm, and the other half gathering around it, rapidly coalescing into a phantom of a void dragon whale. Not until then did Song Kai and Song Zi belatedly hear the words emanating from within the mecha giant. Secret technique. Dragon whale form. Song Qi's eyes shone, having long heard from his grandfather Song Mingsong about secret techniques as a form of inheritance, and this was the first time he'd witnessed a clan member using one. With that thought in mind, his gaze involuntarily swept towards the dragon whale phantom next to the mecha giant that the Kangmang Wuji had turned into, only to instantly dismiss the idea. This dragon whale phantom, formed from the space law, felt strangely familiar to him. On closer reflection, he remembered that when he witnessed the family's second sequence battling the fourth-rank evil Buddha from the perspective of a void demon on the evil Buddha continent, they had also condensed this phantom of a dragon whale, although at that time it was formed using the ice law, and its size was nowhere near as large as the one condensed by the family head. In that instant, the size of the void dragon whale phantom had already neared 8,000 meters, enveloping both the mecha giant and the two escort ships, including the Kongchong, beneath it. With the protection of this void dragon whale, the previously rippling Immortal Realm 5 elements celestial energy shield due to the pressure of 5th rank level energy returned to calm, and the depleted shield value began to quickly recover. And it wasn't over yet. The void dragon whale phantom was just one of the techniques Song Xuanchang was currently employing. After accumulating a massive amount of power from the space law, a terrifying gleam of light then converged at the tip of the silver long halberd in the hands of the mecha giant. Secret technique. Return to ruin / The indifferent voice echoed again in the ears of Song Kai and the others, but under the gleaming light of the halberd, they could hardly open their eyes and could only vaguely see the mecha giant swinging its arm to slash. Then a several thousand-meter-long spatial halberd beam swept across. Boom! The space-cleaving beam of the halberd collided with the incoming 10,000-meter earthen spear, resulting in a terrifying explosion. The energy impact of their clash caused all lifeforms below the 4th rank within 10,000 meters without the protection of their elders to burst and die. And just at the moment the spatial halberd beam clashed with the earthen spear, the expanse of mysterious ice had already advanced close to the mecha giant. Roar! The dragon whale let out a long chant, striving to resist the endless encroachment of the mysterious ice principle. But after all, it was the full-force strike of a 5th-rank life, and even though Song Xuanchang had made no small achievements in the way of the space law, he still wasn't capable enough to contend against the power of laws of a 5th-rank life, even if the space law is one of the most potent in the Starry Sea. The dragon whale phantom dimmed quickly and ultimately collapsed after protecting the 3 for a dozen seconds. Once again without obstruction, the mysterious ice principle surged violently, determined to freeze and seal everything. Within the Kongchang, Song Qi's breathing nearly stopped. As the mysterious ice principle was about to touch the Kongchang, an unexpected sense of weightlessness overtook him first. When he came to his senses, he found that they had already returned to the transmission drop point of the Heritage Tower pathway controlled by their family. Clearly, everything thus far was within the family head's calculations. By using the Gui Shu Jimang to obstruct the rock and earth spear and counteracting the mysterious ice principle with the void dragon whale, it only took a moment to delay until the special transmission method was fully charged. Just as Song Kai retracted his thoughts, he noticed that the mecha's left arm on the family head's flagship was partly frozen by the extreme cold of the mysterious ice. Although the impact wasn't significant, it was enough to illustrate the peril of the recent situation. If the transmission had been slowed by even a moment longer, the outcome might have been much worse. In response, the two Song Qis had no other thoughts, only feeling even more that the family head's combat power was unfathomable. You should know that what just happened was not merely withstanding 2 5th-rank Starry Sea alien races, but also protecting their 2 juniors, and this made the combat power of the Kang Mang Wuji truly strong, and it certainly should not be seen as merely a 4th-rank Zhulu warship. Hum hum hum. As the Kang Mang Wuji returned to its warship form, Song Xuanchang did not say anything else but quickly uttered a single word. Go. It was yet another return journey they did not wish to recall. Within the advanced illusion space, by the time the two recovered from the aftermath of the transmission, Song Xuanchang and Song Changlin, who had been waiting to the side, spoke up. All right, now you can take out the rewards you obtained in the Pusuo Heritage Tower. As for Song Gang's side, there's nothing that can be done about it. I will notify the others later, you don't need to worry. Listening to the family head's words, the two Song Qis exchanged a glance through the warship's communication. Song Zi, my clan brother, you go first. Song Zi smiled as he looked over, nodded without saying much, and then sent a detailed schematic of a shipborne component's attributes. Moonscar Annihilation Cannon LV0 quality. Red. Looking at the red quality super main cannon that Song Zi had presented, Song Qi's expression remained calm, showing no sign of emotional change. However, he did harbor some doubts in the depths of his heart. Was this super main cannon really obtained from clearing the Pusuo Heritage Tower? If it was indeed the reward for clearing the tower, theoretically, it should be a choice among multiple red curios, so why specifically choose a super main cannon? The super main cannon is a shipborne component that only a Zhulu warship could use. What second-rank torch ship captain would choose a component that would only be needed in 100, or even several hundred years? Or is it that the rewards given by the Heritage Tower after clearing it, aside from this super main cannon, just so happen to all be curios that could not be converted into shipborne components? Or perhaps, was it prepared in advance by his great-grandfather? Of course, though he had doubts in his heart, Song Kai did not show them. To the side, Song Xuanchang and Song Changlin exchanged glances, similarly choosing not to speak. If things really were as such, they could not say much either, since the family's rules for the succession sequence had always been this way. The rewards from later on would also need to be retrieved by the family, regardless of whether they were from the Pusuo Heritage Tower or not. The value of a red epic relic was clear, and several ancestors would be happy to use it to enhance the family's foundation. After all, a clan elder's personal ship components and the family's actual foundation were different matters. Their gazes then all turned to Song Kai. Having prepared beforehand, Song Kai did not hesitate to send out the attributes of the Tri-Eye Solidifying Ring component from the Kongchong after it had been uninstalled and was at LV0. Regarding which shipborne component to hand over to the family, Song Kai had actually considered it for a long time. First and foremost, the Purusha Zen seal was absolutely out of the question. If this golden holy domain component was revealed, it would certainly be confiscated by the family. There might be a substantial compensation, but for Song Kai, no compensation could compare to the component itself. Besides the Purusha Zen seal, there were other red and silver components on the warship. After much consideration, Song Kai decided to release the Tri-Eye Solidifying Ring component. This component was the most marginal among the current red and higher quality components on the Kongchong. Besides, he had originally planned to hand this component over to the family. Being able to secure the sequence position with it now was killing two birds with one stone. As for informing the family about the ancient Starry Sky battlefield later and the potential risk of exposing this component, he was not worried. Not to mention his status in the family by that time. The significance of the Tri-Eye Solidifying Ring itself for the family was extraordinary. He believed that the family would not make a fuss over this. Furthermore, reporting a tri-eyed royal family flagship wreckage was in itself a great contribution. The family would be too busy rewarding him. How could they nitpick over such details? In the Kang Mang Wuji, Song Xuanchang's brows raised, surprise filling his eyes. What astonished him was not the quality of the Tri-Eye Solidifying Ring, for silver legend components were indeed rare but not enough to make him lose composure, given his status. After all, such components existed on the Kang Mang Wuji. His surprise stemmed from the immense potential he saw in the component at first glance. If it were enhanced to a certain rank, it would undoubtedly become a foundation-strengthening component for the family. In the past 3,000 years, too many third-rank torch ship captains fell at the step of advancing to a Zhulu warship. Before this, the best component the family had for maintaining enhancement levels was only of orange quality, which at most could work on 4 components at the same time, and only internally. The buffering time was also significant. This meant that family members embarking on warship advancement tasks at third rank could at best use the component for 1 round, disassembling 4 components without damage, and the rest would be left to chance. If the advancement failed, a second attempt would be close to impossible. The Tri-Eye Solidifying Ring, before them, however, could be used twice to solidify before an official advance, meaning 2 or 3 dozen components could be uninstalled without damage before the advancement, essentially allowing for the disassembling of all the essential components of a torch warship. In this way, even if the subsequent advancement failed, having these essential shipborne components with their enhancement levels intact would make a second attempt straightforward. This would significantly increase the chance of 4th-rank family members being born. With this in mind, Song Xuanchang and Song Changlin exchanged glances again, this time with evident excitement flashing in their eyes. Nevertheless, even so, they did not announce the final results of the sequence struggle, as the sequence matter was concerned with the entire Song family. The specifics would still have to wait until they returned to the Dragon Spine continent and consulted with all the clan elders before a formal decision could be made. The outcome of this trip to the Pusuo Heritage Tower may not be completely satisfactory, but both of you have done well. Take out the 2 components, and then let's head back to the Dragon Spine continent, one of them said. The Moonscar Annihilation Cannon and the Tri-Eye Solidifying Ring flew out from 2 escort ships in succession and were finally pulled into the Kang Mang Wuji. Then the 3 warships burst out of the asteroid belt. The Dragon Spine continent, the Vault of Heaven, accompanied by intense spatial fluctuations, Kang Mang Wuji, along with 2 escort ships, materialized out of thin air. Within the Dragon Spine's sacred mountain, the clan ancestral hall. As Song Kai and two others entered the ancestral hall, projections of the clan elders had already materialized around the massive bronze seats, interspersed with a few in-person appearances. Once Song Xuanchang returned to the patriarch's seat, he quickly recounted the events of the recent Pusuo Heritage Tower expedition. Upon hearing the phrase, Song Gang is dead, the expressions in the eyes of several elders' projections varied, especially that of Song Gang's grandfather. Seeing only Song Zi and Song Kai following Song Xuanchang back, he had already developed an ominous hunch. Now, with Song Xuanchang's confirmation, his last sliver of hope was shattered. After Song Xuanchang privately conveyed the details, all the elder could do was sigh deeply. Golden oddities, chaotic battles with alien races, and teleportation drop points being too distant, these were all matters beyond their control. However, as the attributes of the Tri-Eye solidifying ring emerged, the attention of the clan elders was instantly drawn to this unique silver component. If utilized well, this silver component could prove quite beneficial even to fourth-rank torch ship captains like themselves. Without much ado and only brief deliberation among the elders, a decision was swiftly made. The 10th direct lineage, Song Kai, grandchild is present. According to the unanimous decision of the Council of Elders, you are today officially designated as the 7th sequence of Dingai Song family's current generation, enjoying the privileges of a vain leader, and you will be fully supported by the family for the next 100 years. Thank you, Patriarch. Thank you, family. After respectfully bowing, Song Kai was dismissed. The Patriarch and the clan elders knew his mental state was not the best. They allowed him to return within the pulse to rest up before speaking further. As for the subsequent matters related to the sequence, such as the annual familial resource distribution, the reward for submitting the Tri-Eye solidifying ring component, and the inherited secret techniques of the family, Song Kai would need to visit the clan ancestral hall again in 3 days. Soaring above the vault of heaven, in the main control room of the Kongchang, Song Kai accessed his quantum communication bracelet. The family group chat was already exploding with messages congratulating him on becoming the 7th sequence of the family. For a moment, Song Kai and 7th sequence became buzzwords, dominating every channel of the family. Seeing this, Song Kai could do nothing but sincerely thank everyone in each group chat. Otherwise, he feared his reputation might mysteriously transform into that of a cold person by the next day. Turning his attention away from the increasingly active channels, after his brief thank you messages, Song Kai focused on 2 new channels that had appeared as part of his official designation as the 7th sequence. The first had very few members, only several hundreds, which was much quieter compared to the common channels numbering in the tens of thousands. This group chat, named Third Rank Clan Member Channel, was clearly more exclusive. Currently, aside from messages congratulating Song Kai, there was a pinned message in this channel. 7th sequence of the family, Song Kai, submitted the component, the Tri-Eye solidifying ring, today with the following attributes. From now on, prior to their official advancement, all clan members can actively apply to the family for soul solidification. While marveling at the efficiency of the family's operations, Song Chi's gaze shifted to the second channel, which had even fewer members, just a few dozen. He scanned the channel's member account names. Ancestral Vein Patriarch Song Xuanchang. Heavenly Vein Song Tianshu, the first direct lineage Vein Leader Song Hengtong. Ancestral Vein Song Yan. Seeing these names, Song Kai instantly realized these were the high-ranking members of the family, such as Vein leaders and clan elders, including his own grandfather. At this point, Song Kai essentially understood that from today, he had stepped over the threshold into the upper echelons of the family, or more aptly, into the ranks of the core family members. He wasn't sure if these channels included all of the family's high-ranking members and was not curious about it. As long as he continued to steadily improve himself, these matters would naturally unfold before him, something he was firmly confident about. After browsing through the 2 new channels, Song Kai replied to the congratulations from his relatives and siblings within the pulse. It wasn't long before the Kongchong successfully returned to Green Moon Manor. Seeing him return, people like Song Yu were incredibly excited. Family sequence was something they had not even dared to dream of before. All right, little Kai now needs rest. Don't bother him if it's not necessary. In the end, it was Song Ming-song who calmed down the excited 10th direct lineage members. After returning to his personal courtyard, Song Kai did not rest immediately but instead summoned the Kang Chong right there in the courtyard. Once aboard the warship, he went straight to the component that had already been installed, the Purusha Zen Seal. With a thought, the Zen Seal Inner Speed feature of this Golden Holy Domain component was activated. The targeted component for its effect was the Enslavement Mark Frenzy feature of the Enslavement Medal. P.S. There was a mistake in the previous text. The buffer time for neutron star fission is 21 hours. There is no need to use the Zen Seal in non-emergent situations. It's better to let it cool down on its own. Currently, aside from this feature on Kang Chong, there is also the Secret Realm Accelerator from the Cultivation Secret Realm. But since the Secret Realm Accelerator is still in effect, the Zen Seal Inner Speed cannot be triggered. Beyond that, there is the Pusuo Time Realm Slow feature of the Purusha Zen Seal itself, which also has not been used and is hence not needed at the moment. So, following the idea to use it early for an earlier cooldown, Song Kai first applied the Zen Seal Inner Speed feature on the Enslavement Mark Frenzy. With the activation of the feature, the Enslavement Mark Frenzy, which would have originally taken nearly 6 months to buffer, was reduced directly to less than 36 days. After sorting this out, Song Kai had intended to visit the ruins market first, as he still didn't know what kind of strange objects the 3 Fire Peony soldier figurines had brought back. However, at this moment, a sudden and intense sense of fatigue surged in his mind, forcing him to put this matter aside and quickly return to his bedroom to fall into a deep sleep. This deep sleep lasted a full 18 hours. When Song Kai woke up, it was already the next day, but fortunately, he had fully recovered. Without further hesitation, he freshened up and immediately dived into the ruins market. Zutian Ruins Market, in 3rd floor. In addition to the 3 successful Fire Peony soldier figurines that entered the ruins market, the several ruins market walking ranks that were lost in the star domain where the Pusuo Heritage Tower was located had also been recalled by Song Kai. Now they all floated quietly within their respective travel command rooms. Song Chi's current target was the 3 travel command rooms where the 3 soldier figurines had successfully transmitted into the ruins market. Inside these rooms, an unknown number and quality of starry sea oddities awaited his inspection. Just as he entered the first travel command room, aside from the silver travel command floating in the middle of the room, Song Kai immediately saw 2 strange objects on the ground. Both strange objects emitted blue and orange radiance, respectively. The orange glory treasures were understandable, but the blue oddity evidently surprised Song Kai. However, under those previous circumstances, he could only do his best to have the soldier figurines grab whatever was nearest. Upon close inspection, the blue oddity was a common warship armor component of little value, which Song Kai directly overlooked. The attributes of the orange oddity, however, were quite good, convertible into a shipborne secondary cannon of the same quality. Crimson Fire Canopy Cannon LV0 quality. Orange feature, Crimson Fire Canopy. Feature 2. Secondary cannon might increase by 45% consumption. 5 spectral energy points per shot. Might. 6.2 no buffer or charging required up rank requirement. 10 strands of floating land origin, 0 rank. 1000 spectral energy points, 10 kilograms of crimson flame iron. Crimson Fire Canopy. Each time an enemy unit is hit, there is a 5% chance to trigger the Crimson Fire Canopy effect. Crimson Fire Canopy. causes a scorching burst of crimson fire energy at the center of the targeted unit, indiscriminately burning within a 50-meter radius. This secondary cannon component was clearly a type for area attacks, and given that Kang Chong currently was indeed missing a secondary cannon, the blue quality, electromagnetic ray cannon, was no longer keeping up with Kang Chong, so it was a much-needed component. Song Kai was quite pleased with this result. Even if there were no additional high-quality treasures in the next 2 travel command rooms, just the Crimson Fire Canopy cannon alone had reached the minimum expected gain. After all, it was just a casual attempt, so he had nothing to be dissatisfied about with obtaining an exceptional orange-quality secondary cannon. As if to confirm his thoughts, there was only a blue-quality strange object in the second travel command room. In front of the last travel command room, Song Kai pushed open the door with anticipation. Though he had obtained his baseline expectation, the prospect of acquiring more high-quality strange objects was not out of the question for him. As soon as he pushed open the door, a dazzling red light captured his entire vision. The strange object brought back by the previous Fire Peony soldier figurines in this travel command room turned out to be a red epic quality strange object. Overjoyed at the discovery, Song Kai quickly stepped forward. Soon, the detailed attributes of the strange object appeared before him. Strange object. Soul testing stone. Quality. Red. Convertible. Peeping spirit eyes. Remark. A rare epic treasure once used by a lost civilization to test its members' innate gifts, later collected by the Pusuo Heritage Tower, it is a remarkable treasure. Skipping the rest, Song Chi's gaze fixated on the convertible section, and a look of surprise soon appeared on his face. The peeping spirit eyes, listed in the convertible section, was actually a shipborne component, and even more so, a rather rare scanning radar. A red-quality scanning radar would undeniably have attributes far superior to the Silver 3 generation Superwave magical energy detection radar. Focusing his gaze, the attributes of the shipborne component also emerged. Peeping Spirit Eyes LV0.